In the quiet suburb of Bournemouth, nestled along England's south coast, an unsettling story unfolded. A tale of a couple whose outward perfection masked an inner turmoil. On a seemingly ordinary evening, behind the closed doors of their home, a confrontation erupted, transforming into a storm of jealousy and violence. The night would end tragically, extinguishing the bright future of a young woman and setting off a series of revelations that would fracture a family and shake a community to its core. At the center of this tragedy was Emily Longley, a vibrant young woman whose life brimmed with promise. Born on the 22nd of February, 1994, in the bustling city of London, Emily was the cherished daughter of Mark and Caroline Longley. From her first breath, she was enveloped in the warmth of her parents' affection. Mark, holding his newborn daughter, felt an overwhelming sense of purpose and joy, as if life had suddenly revealed its true meaning. Emily's early years were painted with the soft hues of family warmth, bedtime stories, joyful outings, and the gentle routines that crafted her childhood. Her bright blue eyes and soft blonde hair were a reflection of her parents' dreams for her future. Known for her lively spirit and infectious smile, Emily was the heart of her family, bringing light and laughter into their lives. Yet, beneath this idyllic facade, concerns about her health began to surface. Emily suffered from persistent respiratory issues, and doctors warned that London's pollution could exacerbate her condition. Faced with a critical decision, Mark and Caroline weighed the comforts of their familiar London life against the potential health risks to their daughter. The choice was stark: remain amidst family and friends, or embark on a daunting journey to a distant land in search of cleaner air and a healthier environment. With their daughter's well-being as their guiding star, they chose the latter. The Longley family bid farewell to their beloved city, leaving behind the familiar embrace of loved ones and the bustling streets of London. With a mix of trepidation and hope, they journeyed to New Zealand, a land of expansive horizons and serene landscapes. This new environment promised a chance for Emily to thrive, offering the fresh air and open spaces that her health required. As they settled into their new home, New Zealand's natural beauty became a backdrop for Emily's continued growth. The slower pace of life allowed her to flourish, free from the health concerns that had once loomed large in London. Yet, even in this tranquil setting, the seeds of future discord were quietly taking root, setting the stage for events that would later unravel with devastating consequences. In the end, the narrative of Emily Longley is not merely a story of personal tragedy, but a somber reflection on the complexities of human relationships. It serves as a poignant reminder of how love, when entangled with control and betrayal, can transform into something destructive, leaving behind a legacy of pain and a quest for justice. This tale invites contemplation on the fragility of life and the unforeseen paths that the pursuit of happiness can sometimes take. The journey of Emily, once marked by resilience and a tenacious world, with a courage that would later become her hallmark. Her transition into new environments was daunting, yet Emily embraced the challenge with an adaptability that quickly turned strangers into friends and classrooms into arenas of success. Her academic achievements were not merely the result of diligence, but a reflection of an insatiable curiosity and an intellect that refused to settle for superficial answers. Emily's quest for knowledge was as relentless as the tide. Each question she posed a testament to her hunger for deeper understanding. Yet, alongside her scholarly pursuits, another facet of Emily began to shimmer in the public eye. Her beauty, a natural and effortless grace, caught the attention of those around her. Initially recognized within her immediate community, her allure soon transcended local boundaries. What began as modest modeling opportunities soon blossomed into a burgeoning career. Photo shoots and magazine features became frequent, her presence on the runway a testament to her burgeoning fame. Cameras gravitated toward her, drawn not only by her aesthetic appeal, but by a vibrant energy that seemed to breathe life into every frame. By the time she reached her late teens, Emily was skillfully balancing the demands of education with the exhilarating yet demanding world of modeling. In the year 2009, Emily returned to England from New Zealand, a pivotal move that marked the next chapter of her life. Settling in Bournemouth with her grandparents, she found herself in a lively coastal town that was as demanding as it was thrilling. It was amidst this vibrant backdrop that she encountered Elliot Turner in late 2010, their paths crossing in the social haunts of bars and clubs frequented by their peers. Elliot was a figure impossible to ignore. He exuded a self-assuredness that bordered on the ostentatious, his presence punctuated by a charisma that effortlessly drew people in. To Emily, he was a beacon of excitement and promise, offering a potent blend of love and loyalty wrapped in an intoxicating intensity. The allure of his charm was difficult to resist, and Emily found herself swept up in what seemed to be a whirlwind romance, passionate, exhilarating, and full of potential. However, beneath Elliot's captivating exterior lay a far more troubling reality. The initial thrill of their relationship gradually gave way to a sinister undercurrent. Elliot's demeanor shifted. His moods became unpredictable, his need for control insatiable. He began to monitor Emily's movements, growing increasingly suspicious of her interactions with others. His reactions were often fueled by anger, a stark contrast to the love he once professed. Emily, whose confidence and independence had once been her defining traits, found these qualities eroding under the weight of Elliot's oppressive behavior. The vibrant young woman who had once seemed unstoppable was becoming a shadow of her former self, her once unyielding spirit now subdued and cautious. Those close to her watched with growing concern as the relationship devolved from a source of love into a prison of fear and confinement. Elliot Turner's hold over Emily darkened with each passing day, his behavior a chilling manifestation of control and violence. Despite Emily's efforts to cling to her inner strength, the escalating situation painted a grim portrait of a love turned toxic. The vibrant tapestry of Emily's life, once woven with resilience and promise, now bore the dark threads of a struggle against an overwhelming force. In the end, the true nature of strength lies not just in resilience, but in the courage to break free from the shadows that seek to bind us. By the spring of 2011, the relationship between Emily Longley and Elliot Turner reached a perilous crescendo. Their interactions, once tender, had devolved into frequent, explosive confrontations. Elliot's consuming jealousy, suspicion, and obsession with control cast a dark shadow over their lives, creating a tinderbox of emotions ready to ignite. Family and friends, those closest to Emily and Elliot, had observed the ominous signs. Yet despite their concerns, none could have foreseen the tragic and brutal events that would soon unfold, forever altering the course of their lives. On the fateful evening of May 7th, Emily visited Elliot's home in Bournemouth, unaware that she was stepping into the final hours of her life. The air inside the Turner household was thick with tension, a palpable hostility simmering beneath the surface, waiting to erupt. What began as a verbal disagreement spiraled rapidly out of control. Words, sharp and cutting, turned into shouts. Consumed by a blinding rage, he seized Emily, his hands tightening around her neck in an act of horrifying violence. Emily, only 17 years old, fought valiantly for her life. Her cries echoed through the house, a desperate plea for survival. But tragically, her strength was no match for the fury that consumed Elliot. Her life was extinguished, her voice silenced forever as she succumbed to his brutal assault. In the aftermath of her death, Elliot did not seek help, nor show any remorse. Instead, he embarked on a calculated effort to conceal his heinous crime. Over the ensuing hours, he meticulously crafted a facade of normalcy, using his phone to send deceptive messages and manipulate his surroundings, all in a bid to erase the evidence of his guilt. In a chilling twist, Elliot's parents, Lee and Anita Turner, became complicit in their son's deception. They engaged in a desperate attempt to shield him from the impending legal consequences, erasing incriminating texts and attempting to reconstruct the timeline of events to obscure the truth. It was Anita Turner who eventually dialed the police. Yet by the time emergency services arrived, Emily lay unresponsive, and all efforts to revive her proved heartbreakingly futile. The scene that greeted the first responders was rife with contradictions, the physical evidence telling a story starkly different from the one the Turners presented. Emily's body bore the unmistakable signs of a violent struggle. The bruising around her neck, the small hemorrhages in her eyes, and other physical indicators painted a grim picture of the final moments of her life. These details prompted the authorities to delve deeper, unraveling the web of lies spun by Elliot and his family. Initially, detectives were swayed by the narrative the Turners offered, a tale of sudden and inexplicable death. However, the inconsistencies in their story soon became apparent. The evidence before them refuted the notion of an accident, instead revealing the brutal reality of what had transpired within the Turner home. As the investigation unfolded, the veneer of innocence that Elliot and his parents attempted to maintain began to crack. The truth, buried beneath layers of deceit, emerged with startling clarity. It became evident that Emily's death was not a tragic accident, but a deliberate act of violence, a manifestation of Elliot's unchecked rage and possessiveness. In the end, the tragic tale of Emily Longley serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of unchecked emotions and the lengths to which individuals will go to protect those they love, even in the face of undeniable truth. It is a story that compels us to reflect on the nature of love, control, and the devastating consequences when they become entwined. In the heart of a seemingly tranquil English town, a harrowing tale of deceit and betrayal unfolded, shattering the peace of an unsuspecting community. The tragic death of Emily Langley on the 7th of May 2011 became a focal point of investigation, revealing a web of lies spun to obscure a chilling truth. Emily, a vibrant young woman with aspirations in modeling and academia, had returned to England, drawn by the promise of a flourishing future. Yet, her life was abruptly extinguished in a place she considered safe. The initial narrative presented by Elliot Turner and his family was one of sudden, inexplicable demise. However, the incongruities in Elliot's recounting of events soon aroused the suspicions of seasoned detectives. Their instincts, honed over years of unraveling human subterfuge, sensed the presence of a darker reality lurking beneath the surface. Forensic evidence painted a starkly different picture from the one Elliot and his parents, Anita and Lee Turner, attempted to portray. Emily's body bore the unmistakable signs of a violent confrontation. Bruises encircled her neck, her eyes showed the telltale signs of petechial hemorrhages, and her skin was marked by the struggle for survival. This was no sudden illness. It was a calculated act of violence. As investigators delved deeper, a digital trail revealed a damning narrative. Text messages, painstakingly deleted by Elliot and his family, surfaced, exposing their frantic attempts to erase evidence and craft a narrative of innocent effort to shield their son from the consequences of his actions. Mark and Caroline Langley, Emily's grieving parents, were thrust into a nightmarish reality. The loss of their daughter was compounded by the knowledge that those who should have been protectors had morphed into conspirators. Their pain was magnified by the betrayal of another family, a betrayal that transformed their sorrow into a relentless quest for justice. The town of Bournemouth, where Emily's dreams were meant to blossom, was rocked by the revelation. The community was forced to confront the insidious threat posed by toxic relationships, a silent epidemic of control, jealousy, and obsession that can escalate with lethal consequences. Emily's death was not merely a personal tragedy. It was a chilling reminder of the hidden perils lurking in the shadows of intimate connections. Elliot's parents, far from innocent bystanders, were implicated in the cover-up. Court proceedings would later reveal the extent of their involvement. They had meticulously coached Elliot, erased incriminating evidence, and woven a tapestry of lies to obfuscate the truth. Their actions not only obstructed justice, but prolonged the agony of Emily's family, delaying the closure that comes with accountability. The case of Emily Longley serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of trust and the devastating impact of betrayal. It underscores the critical importance of vigilance and integrity in the pursuit of justice. In the quiet aftermath of Emily's untimely death, her story endures as a solemn testament to the enduring struggle between truth and deception, urging society to remain ever watchful against the darkness that can reside in the most unexpected places. In the heart of a quiet neighborhood, a scene of tragedy unfolded, leaving a community in shock and a family in mourning. The diligent work of law enforcement began immediately, as officers meticulously secured the area, ensuring that each fragment of evidence was preserved. With precision, they documented every detail, understanding that each piece could stitch together the story of what had transpired. In the subsequent days, investigators embarked on a rigorous journey, piecing together the puzzle of Emily's untimely demise. They spoke earnestly with witnesses, scoured digital records, and paid close attention to the behavior of one man, Elliot Turner. The narrative that emerged was as chilling as it was tragic. Elliot's behavior toward Emily had been a sinister tapestry of control and jealousy. For months, he had ensnared her in a web of threats, surveillance, and volatile outbursts, each strand tightening with his fear of losing her. The shadow of his controlling nature loomed large, casting a dark pall over Emily's life. It was a relationship marked by fear and manipulation, where Elliot's wrath was never far from the surface. The aftermath of Emily's death cast further suspicion on Elliot. His demeanor, far from one of grief or remorse, was instead marked by defiance and control. His actions and reactions were scrutinized, revealing a man more concerned with maintaining his narrative than mourning his loss. The forensic evidence was damning. Experts revealed the harrowing details: bruising on Emily's throat, cuts and scrapes across her body, all painting a vivid picture of a violent struggle. The conclusion was inescapable. Emily had been deliberately strangled in a fit of rage. By the summer of 2011, the wheels of justice turned. Elliot Turner was charged with murder, and his parents faced charges of obstructing justice. The case, set to be heard at Winchester Crown Court, captivated the public's attention. Emily's story resonated deeply, her promising life cut short, evoking a profound sense of loss and anger both in the United Kingdom and her homeland of New Zealand. April 2012 marked the beginning of the trial. In the courtroom, Emily's life was laid bare, particularly the tumultuous months leading up to her death. The prosecution meticulously outlined how Elliot's behavior had escalated, his fury ignited by her interactions with other men, his threats becoming more ominous. Witnesses recounted the volatility of their relationship, sharing testimonies of Emily's confessions of fear and the looming danger she felt. The digital footprint left behind was telling. Text messages between Elliot and Emily unveiled the toxicity that had seeped into their relationship. Meanwhile, the deleted messages from Elliot's parents were scrutinized, suggesting a deliberate attempt to shield their son from the consequences of his actions. The defense sought to sow seeds of doubt, proposing that Elliot might not have intended to kill Emily. Yet, the medical and forensic evidence spoke volumes. Pathologists provided irrefutable testimony, affirming that Emily's injuries were consistent with strangulation. The jury was presented with a comprehensive account of her final moments, leaving little room for ambiguity. The prosecution's narrative was compelling, underscoring Elliot's past threats and his refusal to let Emily go. They argued persuasively that her death was not an accident, but a calculated act, driven by a desperate need to exert control. As the trial unfolded, the courtroom became a stage for a tragic story of love turned lethal, a poignant reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked jealousy and control. In the end, the case of Elliot and Emily serves as a somber reflection on the fragility of life and the destructive power of possessiveness. It is a cautionary tale, urging society to recognize the signs of toxic relationships and to intervene before tragedy strikes. The echoes of Emily's story linger, a testament to her life and a call for vigilance in the fight against domestic violence. In the hushed tension of the courtroom, every eye was fixed on the unfolding drama, a solemn assembly witnessing the unraveling of a heart-wrenching tale. Emily Langley's life, once vibrant and full of promise, was laid bare in words that painted a poignant picture of her character and the harrowing circumstances that led to her untimely demise. Her family and friends, seated in the gallery, carried the weight of their grief visibly, their silent vigil a testament to the enduring love they held for her. At the heart of this tragedy stood Mark and Caroline, Emily's parents, their faces etched with sorrow and determination. They bore the unbearable burden of their daughter's loss, yet remained resolute in their pursuit of justice. For weeks, the courtroom became a theater of sorrow and resolve, as testimony after testimony unfolded the grim narrative of Emily's final days. In the spring of 2012, the jury delivered their verdict. Elliot Turner was declared guilty of the murder of Emily Langley, a judgment that brought a measure of closure to her grieving family. His sentence was life imprisonment, with the stipulation that he serve a minimum of 16 years before parole could even be considered. The courtroom echoed with the gravity of the decision, a solemn acknowledgement of a life cut short by violence. The repercussions of this trial extended beyond Elliot Turner. His parents, Anita and Lee Turner, were found guilty of obstructing justice, having attempted to erase the digital traces of their son's culpability. Their sentences were suspended, a judicial reflection of their complicity in trying to shield their son from the consequences of his actions. For Emily's family, the trial's conclusion was bittersweet. The verdict at Winchester Crown Court marked the end of a grueling legal journey, yet it was but a chapter in a broader narrative that her death had ignited. Her story resonated far beyond the confines of the courtroom, sparking a profound and necessary discourse on the perils of abusive relationships. Emily's tragic end became a catalyst for awareness, a rallying cry for advocacy against domestic abuse. In both the United Kingdom and New Zealand, where Emily had spent her formative years, her story became a poignant reminder of the insidious nature of jealousy and control. Advocacy groups seized upon her narrative to illuminate the dangers lurking within seemingly affectionate, yet controlling relationships. Law enforcement agencies and organizations dedicated to combating domestic violence amplified their efforts, emphasizing the critical importance of recognizing early warning signs. They warned of jealousy masquerading as affection, control disguised as care, and the insidious erosion of personal freedom that often precedes violence. Emily's case was far from isolated. It underscored a grim reality that such controlling behaviors, if unchecked, could escalate into lethal outcomes. In New Zealand, The reaction was one of profound sorrow and introspection. The murder of a young woman with roots in their land captured media attention and fueled national conversations about relationship abuse and the protective measures necessary to safeguard the vulnerable. Emily's narrative became a beacon for education and prevention, a powerful tool for safeguarding young people in relationships. It galvanized families, schools, and communities to recognize and act upon the warning signs of abuse. Her father, Mark Longley, emerged as a pivotal voice in this critical dialogue. Despite the depths of his grief, he channeled his sorrow into activism, becoming a vocal advocate against domestic violence. Through public speaking engagements, media interviews, and awareness campaigns, Mark Longley tirelessly championed the cause, imploring society to break the silence surrounding domestic abuse. His message was poignant and unwavering. Emily's death must not be in vain. In the silent echoes of her loss, there was a call to action, a plea for vigilance, and a hope that through awareness and education, future tragedies could be averted. In the shadow of tragedy, a father's hope emerges as a beacon for others, a warning crafted from the somber tale of his daughter Emily. Her life and untimely death illuminate the silent perils that lurk in the shadows of abusive relationships, a stark reminder of society's frequent failure to heed the subtle yet glaring signs of distress. Emily's story is more than a recounting of personal loss. It is a clarion call for vigilance and intervention. Friends of Emily confessed to sensing an unspoken wrongness, a silent cry that echoed in the spaces between her words and actions. Yet, they found themselves paralyzed, uncertain of how to breach the invisible barrier that separated concern from action. This paralysis is not uncommon, as authorities acknowledge the elusive nature of psychological control, a specter that often precedes physical violence, yet remains frustratingly difficult to quantify or prove. The trial that ensued was not merely a legal proceeding, but a testament to the harrowing consequences of unchecked abuse. It served as a stark reminder of the cost of silence and inaction. Emily's story transcended the courtroom, inspiring initiatives aimed at supporting survivors and educating the young about the tenets of healthy relationships. The trial underscored a critical shift in holding abusers accountable, not only for physical harm, but also for the insidious threats and coercion that often precede such violence. In the aftermath, Emily's name became synonymous with resilience and awareness. Her legacy finds its place in educational programs, her story a tool to enlighten students about the insidious nature of abuse. Domestic violence campaigns have adopted her narrative as a poignant illustration of the perils of silence and the moral imperative of action. For her family, each passing anniversary and birthday is a poignant reminder of the vibrant life extinguished too soon. A life once filled with potential and joy. Her father's voice echoes with the pain of absence, each celebration tinged with the shadow of what could have been. Yet within this grief, he has discovered a profound purpose, channeling sorrow into advocacy, ensuring Emily's story reverberates far beyond the confines of Bournemouth, reaching hearts across the globe. Emily is remembered not solely as a victim, but as a catalyst for change, her tragic end igniting conversations that could save countless others. Her story stands as a testament to the power of awareness, a reminder that abuse in all its forms, emotional, mental, and physical, demands recognition and action before it escalates. Though her laughter no longer graces her family's home, her voice endures through those who continue to share her story and preserve her memory. The legacy Emily leaves behind shatters the silence, challenges complacency, and demands a world where love is never confused with possession, where safety, respect, and dignity are the cornerstones of society. Her spirit, though extinguished in life, continues to inspire a commitment to positive action, a reminder that from grief can emerge strength, and from loss, a powerful resolve to protect and uplift others.